My Lord and my God, I firmly believe that you are here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence. I ask your pardon for my sins and the grace to make this time of prayer fruitful. My Mother Immaculate, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me. Well, it's Saturday. Thank God it's the weekend. Although it's true that work from home arrangements blur the line between work and home, between weekday and weekend. So if the past week has been late nights and early mornings and restless nights for you, and you have the overwhelming feelings that come with doing what needs to be done, enjoy this weekend. Don't die from overwork. You might ask, can one really die from overwork? Well, yes. Death from overwork is so common in some places, like in Japan, that there's even a word for it, karoshi, which translates as death by overwork. Because after the defeat of the Second World War, the Japanese worked the longest hours in the world by far. So they were considered workaholics of the highest order. And after the war, work was the central life interest in Japan. But decades later, in the mid-1980s, that took a dark turn. Because by the late 1980s, enough white-collar workers were dying from overwork each year that the government began to pay attention. Initially, the government was documenting a couple of hundred cases every year of people dying from overwork. But by 2015, claims had risen to a record high of 2,300. But thankfully, the Japanese don't work the longest hours anymore. But yes, you see, one can die from overwork. So today's gospel is very timely, a lesson in the right way to press the shut-off switch. Because the episode narrated by the gospel describes how the apostles were so pressured by the urgency of their mission that they did not have time to rest or eat. So Jesus shows himself here as the good shepherd because you, Lord, you lead your sheep to restful places so that they can regain their energy and they can restore the right inner balance. When you, Jesus, see them worn out by apostolic work, you take them in the boat to a peaceful and secluded place to rest for a while. Well, we also have to apply to ourselves our Lord's remedy for tiredness. We who live in an age of work, which leads to the sickness of activism. And notice how activism leads us to anxiety, then to impatience, then to intolerance. That's why, at times, it's necessary to stop, to retreat, and to be by ourselves. We need that rest, which will help free us from tension, from the wear and tear caused by our work, so that we can put order to our thoughts, to our feelings, to our emotions, even to our problems and worries. We need silence, because silence is the place where great things are shaped. And silence, of course, is necessary for God to speak to us. Because before we can make a beautiful symphony of our lives, we must first find complete rest in God. So today, let's go to a deserted place with Jesus to rest, but moreover, to be with Him. So Jesus, just like you did for your apostles in today's gospel, please help us to discover how to rest amid the small occurrences of everyday life. We know that you count on our doing ordinary activities well, but give us the practical sense to make fulfilling our duties compatible with that responsible concern to preserve the strength, the good cheer that we need to continue working for you. I discovered a beautiful poem, although it's often attributed to St. Thomas More. It was actually written by another Thomas, Thomas Basil Webb, who was killed at the Battle of the Somme. Here is the poem he wrote not long before dying at the age of 19, which is a beautiful prayer actually. Give me a good digestion, Lord, and also something to digest. Give me a healthy body, Lord, with sense to keep it at its best. Give me a healthy mind, Lord, to keep the good and pure in sight. Give me a mind that is not bored, that does not whimper, whine, or sigh. Don't let me worry over much about the fussy thing called I. Give me a sense of humor, Lord, the grace to see a joke, to get some happiness from life, and pass it on to other folk. So what a good way to confront tiredness, with common sense, with good humor. To rest and not to over-exaggerate our tiredness. Of course, we should not wait to rest until we are so totally exhausted that our health suffers. But we shouldn't also make unreal expectations regarding our rest that will only make us anxious in trying to achieve those expectations. Maybe the realistic rest is that kind of rest that's done in continual small doses, not the one-time, big-time ones. I learned this recently when I was given a small pot of mint to grow and to share with people. The gift came with precise instructions saying, give your plant a unique name, water it every day, let it grow, sing to it, multiply it, and share it. And honestly, I tried my best to do all of that, but there were days I failed to water it, and to make up for that, I would give it more water on other days. Sadly, there was no mint to multiply and to share because it died. But I thought that that plant is a good image of rest and nurture. That constant irrigation is of greater benefit than many days of drought interspersed with a deluge. So many rests at work because continuous tension can bring on fatigue. Listen to what Jesus tells us. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Which actually happens when we commit ourselves to spending time in prayer every day, like our mini break now with Jesus and this 10 minutes with Him. Then just be humble to accept that we can't always resolve things all at once. So turn to Jesus to ask for serenity and energy to resolve problems, to accept calmly the daily concerns and worries, and our own imperfections and the imperfections of others. To have that quiet time with Him, because when we have that quiet time with Jesus, we can clear our head and we can return refreshed to our normal life. And with a clearer vision of the world that helps us rediscover the beauty of little things. So yes, Jesus, in these 10 minutes with you, you helped us decompress and you filled us with new life and energy. As we end our prayer, we also turn to our Mother Mary. We entrust to our loving Mother those who are particularly tired, those who for various reasons are unable to take a break from their usual occupations. I thank you, my God, for the good resolutions, affections, and inspirations that you have communicated to me in this meditation. I ask your help to put them into effect. My Mother Immaculate, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me.